Next up, we have Bo, our newest DCM Foundation board member. He just joined a couple weeks ago, but we're delighted to have him. Bo is a fellow DCM patient, so I'm excited to hear his story. But professionally, he works as a consultant and strategist in the healthcare system. He's worked with every major healthcare system there is. And so we're really excited to have him on the board and lend this expertise.
Great job. Thanks. I'm going to start with a video, so why don't we go ahead and tee that up?
It was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Everybody had gotten off work early so they could go to the ball game. We were all sitting there and they were playing the Chandler Second Ward out of Chandler, Arizona. One of the Chandler fellows hit the ball right to center field, and Mark was the center fielder, and he caught the ball. Then he instantly threw it to third base, so it was a long throw. So everybody was watching the ball. And then we turned around and Mark was flat on his face. He died instantly. When the doctors were checking him at the Murray Hospital, they said it was not a heart attack, but they had no idea why he suddenly collapsed.
I was in California with my mother, and when we got to the train station, my father and my sister were there, and they informed us that Mark had passed away on the ball field. There was 9 boys and 1 girl. At no time did I think that what happened to Mark would happen to me or any of my other brothers. But in the end, of the 10, 5 of them passed away because of their heart before they turned 50. Out of all my other brothers, I was the only one that was revived and brought back to life.
My dream was to be a nurse. I always loved cardiology, and when I learned about John's cardiac arrest, that kind of started the whole process with, we need to understand more what is going on with this family. We need genetic testing so we can identify the gene and potentially get all family members screened. It's been 65 years that we have not known what was going on with this family, and now we do.
My name is Bo Nemelka. I'm also a fellow DCM patient. That's the most important thing you should know about me. My father has had 2 heart transplants, and my family has had 12 heart transplants. And what you heard from Anna, that the mapping of the family, we have that ours mapped like that. And we were quite blessed in our family because my great-grandfather had 9 children, and those 9 children, 5 of the 9 died suddenly before the age of 50, and most of them died playing sports. And so we knew something was going on, and I think if they had not had 9 children, you probably wouldn't have known, or maybe some of you have members of your family where you think to yourself, oh, they just died of a heart attack. But the reality is, it's exactly what Anna and Dr. Hirschman were describing. You don't know you're sick because you feel fine. So as I grew up, I felt fine. I played college tennis. I was a D1 college tennis athlete, went to grad school after that, studied healthcare, busy job, flying around the country, consulting health systems. But I knew, because my dad had been sick, I knew that something was happening. And then in 2014, Intermountain Health, I'm from the state of Utah. I live in South Dakota now. Intermountain Health was one of the pioneers in their precision genomic work. And what happened was they came to our family and said, we think we've identified the variant, the gene variant that causes your cardiomyopathy. It's called the Desmond protein gene. So they said, would you be willing to come in and get genetically tested? And we had this wonderful nurse in our family who was one of my cousin's wives, and she organized a giant genetic testing site. We used a church We all went to a church. There was like hundreds of us, and we all got our blood drawn. And we became part of a study to see this, and I was positive for the gene. And that's a very interesting thing to be told. They look you in the eyes and say, you might look fine, you might feel fine, but you are sick, or you're going to be sick. So we want to cut you open. We want to put in a defibrillator in case you need it. And think about back in 2014, this is 10 years ago. What would you do? Would you do it? Would you believe them? If somebody told you right now, hey, you're going to have cancer in 10 years, we're going to put you in under a surgery and we're going to put a device in your body to help prevent that. Would you do it? That's why the numbers are so low. That's why 1%. It's because people inherently, there's this social component to the way our brains think as humans where we don't want to know. And it's amazing that happens. That you think to yourself, I'd rather not know. But you think about it more. You think, what's responsible? I have 5 children now, all under the age of 14. We had all them tested. 4 of the 5 are positive. It's a 50-50 shot that you're positive because they either got the gene from me or they got the gene from my spouse. So when we took them to get, it's literally a flip of a coin. So when we heard back 4 out of the 5 are positive, we thought to ourselves, well, okay, that was a bit unlucky. At the same time, how blessed are we to know that our children could be at risk for this? And we're learning every day from the professionals that you've heard from. So my story standing in front of you today is I got my test. I went and had the device implanted with the encouragement of a wonderful, lovely wife and family members who I adore, but I was resistant to it. I can't stand here and lie to you. I was pretty resistant. So I got that put in 2022, and I got it put in, didn't think twice about it. And one day, a year and a half later, I was at a young men's church camp with my son, and we were playing flag football, and my eyes went to the back of my head. I started to feel very dizzy. I fell forward. My defibrillator fired off at 287 beats a minute on my heart. And I didn't lose consciousness, but it hit me like a horse kicked me. And I fell to my face. I didn't know what had happened. And then suddenly it occurred to me, oh my gosh, my defibrillator just went off. And the first time it had happened, I called my doctor. I was up in the middle of a beautiful lake in northern Utah called Bear Lake. And I said, what do I do? And he's like, you feel okay? I'm like, yeah, I feel fine now. He's like, you're good. You can stay at the camp. So I stayed. I stayed at the camp. How amazing that I had that defibrillator that has saved my life in that moment. And from that moment after, I had to go off 2 more times. Once was playing tennis. And so finally I was like, okay, I'm done sports, which is tough. It's really tough. I can't get my heart rate over 130 without the risk of it maybe firing off. So that'd probably be the thing I'd share that's frustrating the most. But look, I look at these wonderful, beautiful 5 children I have. I live a very fulfilling life with an intervention like an ICD. I take some medication that helps monitor my adrenaline that goes to my heart, a beta blocker, which blocks that. And I agree with you that I'll be at like baseball games where all the parents are really like anxious because it's competitive and we all care about our kids winning sports. And they're all like, their heart rates are up, they're pacing, and I'm like selling my Sodalol pills for people to take to lower their heart pressure. So there are some benefits, or, you know, the in-laws are coming over and I'm just not feeling up to it. Oh, sorry, honey, my heart's just not up for it tonight. So I wanted you to hear from me a message of hope, a message that even if you are diagnosed with this, and even though it's very traumatic, there is healing. I'll just end on this note. My grandfather was 24 years old. His wife, who was pregnant with my dad, was watching, and he was on a baseball field playing center field, and he threw the ball from center field. He fell forward and he died. And so my wonderful grandmother at 24 years old, pregnant, watched her husband die because he had no idea that he had cardiomyopathy. And here I am standing in front of you today, older than he is, living a wonderful life because of his sacrifice. And I want you to know that I could not stand here in front of you without giving credit to the ancestors ahead of us. And I guarantee many of you have diseases in your own families where people have sacrificed without the knowledge we have today, and how lucky and fortunate we are to have the knowledge we do. So when Greg and the others called to join DCM to bring my healthcare knowledge and other things I've done, great. But more than that was to give credit to my ancestors, to give credit to my family, and to give credit to patients like you heard today. It's an amazing foundation with a lot of promise, and your support will directly impact patients. So thank you very much.